What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to a conversation with Joshua T. Berglan and a very familiar face. Welcome back, Raka, all the way from Israel. How are you?
Wonderful. Thank you.
I want to ask you what you're grateful for today, and then I have all kinds of questions for you. But what are you grateful for today and why?
I'm very grateful that I understand how important gratitude is. This is a major thing that I learned recently in life. Oh my gosh, I just learned this great thing. What's the difference? First time I've ever asked this. What's the difference between a happy life and a miserable life?
Gratitude.
That's it. How grateful you are. That's the whole difference.
I've actually, in all of the broadcasts I've done, I've never heard that from a guest, and I love it. So thank you for sharing that. Listen, we had such a great conversation about all kinds of stuff last time. And there was a lot of things that we touched on but didn't get into. And I still want to talk about all that with you, but I would be not me if I didn't ask you, how is everything in Israel? Because all of the video and pictures that I'm seeing right now it's heartbreaking. It's just like, it makes me sick. And I know that you all have been dealing with this kind of stuff for a long time, but this time it feels different. And maybe it's because of everything else going on in the world. But how is everything in Israel right now?
Yeah, when the Sabbath ended last week, I didn't know what had happened. We went to a neighbor's house and she told us that a Molotov cocktail was thrown like a block down, but we didn't know about it. And then when the Sabbath ended, I just got on Facebook and a friend said to me, "Are you okay? I just want to make sure you're okay." And I'm like, what is she talking about? I had no idea. Because we live close to Jerusalem, but not that close that we would hear anything. So when you're observing the Sabbath, we don't use any devices. So I don't know what's happening, which is an amazing thing. But yeah. So then I
permanent Sabbath, I think.
It's really good for everybody. One day a week to turn off and be free. It's amazing. In fact, when I used to observe the Sabbath, it did not feel as different as it feels now that we're plugged in all the time. When you unplug one day a week, oh my gosh, it's like you feel like you went back in time, but in a wonderful way. It's like amazing. So anyway, that's when I learned what happened, and outside a synagogue in Jerusalem. Yeah.
Is there any legitimate hope? I mean, is amongst the citizens of Palestine and Israel, is there any realistic hope that peace can happen?
I don't see why not. Most of the Palestinians want peace. Most of the Jewish people want peace. That's what the people want.
But the government clearly don't.
I think that there's violence is being incited from certain places, but most people want to live in peace.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think in America, we're about to get a taste of what other countries have been dealing with for hundreds of years, centuries even. And I don't know, it just feels weird. I'm one of those people that I hate war and I want peace and love, and I sound like a hippie, but that's ultimately the thought of being able to travel all through Africa and all through the Middle East and just being around the different cultures, the people, the sounds, the food, the smells, all of it. And to be able to do that in a peaceful way, in a productive way, and in a way that I believe that God would want us to do, that's what I want with all of my heart. And it's just heartbreaking for me to see this. There's so many things out there to care about, so many causes and all that, but ultimately it's humanity that I care about the most. And it just really sucks to see all this happening.
But we can change it. We can change it. This is really a world created for us to experience with gratitude. That's it. Spreading this is what helps. There's nothing else that helps as much. recognizing that we're spiritual beings here to enjoy this world together. We just have to keep spreading that message.
I love that. I don't know how to even segue into this because this is going to be raw and sloppy. So forgive me if it's smooth because I don't know how to frame the question. But I've been on this spiritual journey, and at first it originated with giving my life to the Lord. That's how I changed my life. Reading the Bible, and of course reading the Torah as well, but also Bible itself. And little by little, through my relationship with God, I started to hear and see different things, and I've started to see different things in the Bible that made me question the way that we have been taught, one, Christianity, but two, the Bible. And every time I talk to somebody from Israel that's currently living there, they laugh about how Americans in the West view the Bible. And I had never gotten a really solid answer as to what that is and what that's about. But it's hard for me not to connect the dots a little bit between me discovering that the Bible is much more metaphysical than we're taught. We're told it's the Word of God, it's the literal Word of God, and that's all there is to it. But really, it's more of a metaphysical book from what I can see and it keeps being revealed to me. So I don't know if that's why they laugh or not. But I want to ask you, from your perspective, in the West, in the Bible that we read, because it's different, every single country has a different Bible. Africa has a Bible with 80-something books. I mean, it's just different everywhere. How do Jewish people in Israel view the West view on the Bible and Christianity?
That's a great question. There's so many layers. And one of the things that we believe is that so much of the Bible is written in code. Now, we're talking about what you call the Old Testament. There's so much that is not explained. Things are written very vaguely, and we don't know really what they mean. There's a prayer, the Shema prayer. You put something on your head and you wrap it on your arms. We don't know what these things are. So we have in Judaism an oral law that was not written down for a long time, passed down through stories, not stories only, but verbally, from one generation to the next, explaining what all these things are. And we have Kabbalah, which is the mystical understanding of the Bible. That's on an even deeper level. There are many levels, many layers to it, and it can be understood literally as well as in many other ways. Like the Bible talks about all these wars, and it talks about this person begot that person begot that. Why is that important? When you study in depth, it has a whole new meaning. And you begin to understand all types of things. These wars are going on inside of you. Like these wars are about the struggle that every person encounters. The journeys that the Jewish people went on in the desert, and they stopped 42 places. It talks about our souls go on these journeys with 42 stops in them. What I mean is these are all to be understood metaphorically in really deep symbolic ways as well as literally. So we understand it as a child, and then as we get older, we understand the same things on deeper and deeper levels. So it's available to us to enrich our lives with wisdom at whatever level we're at.
Is that why? Like I saw something yesterday, and I can't remember the term, but the way that they described Judaism it's like a faith that was really meant to blend with all the others. Like it was never supposed to be, this is our way, this is what Christianity is, the only way to heaven is through Jesus and blah, 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 blah. But Judaism is really almost more of a universal religion in itself. And I don't even want to use the word religion, but it's really meant to just blend with everything. Is that correct? Am I getting that wrong?
We are supposed to be uniting everybody. That
Right.
is our role. That's definitely what we're supposed to do. And we are supposed to be helping everybody, including ourselves, to understand that there's a unity, that there's a oneness to everything, that all the energy comes from one source, and we are all God's children. We are all connected, that God breathed life into all of us, and we need to